Hey pool owners, if you have a single or dual speed pump motor and you're looking for a way to save money on your electric bill, then switching to a variable speed motor might be an option for you.
In this video, we'll cover the steps of installing a Century VGreen 165 variable speed motor. Let's take a look. Alright, so what we have here is a single speed Hayward Super 2 pump. As you can probably hear, it's a little loud, which is normal for a single speed pump. Once we get the VGreen on there, you should notice, it's much quieter. But let's go ahead and get the installation started. All right, so we're going to loosen up the bolts here with a 9/16 socket. All right, we're going to slide the motor back. All right, so we're going to start disconnecting some of the wires. We'll just start with the external bonding wire. Just loosen this up a little bit. All right, and then we'll take these, loosen these two nuts up and take the cap off. All right, slide the cap off. All right, so now we're gonna remove the lines going into the motor, which we have the ground over here and then the two hot lines. All right, we're going to go ahead and discharge the capacitor. So all you have to do is just take a screwdriver and put it across the two terminals. And it should be good to go. All right, I'm going to start to disassemble this and take some of the parts off. So we're going to have to reuse them on the new motor. So we're going to start with the diffuser. Let's just pop right off. Put this to the side. Take the weir ring. Okay, so the next step will be to remove the impeller, but before you do that, you got to stabilize the shaft, otherwise it's just going to keep spinning. So we're going to use a 7/16 wrench, slide in here behind the protector, and we're going to stabilize, and basically you just turn the impeller until it kind of locks in place, like that. And then we'll spin the impeller off counterclockwise. And then the seal plate will just pop right off. No critters running around, so that's good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take the bolts out here to get the motor plate. So again, we're using a 9/16 socket. All right, so we got the bolts out, so we're just going to take the motor plate off. And it's that simple. All right, so we got the two motors side by side. Obviously, this is the old one. This is the new, the VGreen. It's the 1.65. You can see the interface here. The 2.7 has the digital interface. All the VGreen motors are totally enclosed and fan cooled. So it should last a lot longer than the old single speed. All right, so at this point, we're going to start to put on some of the old parts back on the new motor, minus the shaft seal. You want to make sure you replace your shaft seal. Otherwise, if you try and reuse the old one, first of all, it could void the warranty, and it could let water down the shaft and ruin the motor. So you want to make sure replace that shaft seal. All right, so I slid the motor mounting plate on, and on the Hayward Super 2, there is a top and a bottom of this plate. It'll say top on the reverse side, so you know it's the top. All right, so next part is going to be the seal plate. You want to just visually inspect the seal plate, make sure there's no cracks. If so, you want to replace it. First thing you want to do is pop out this old part of the shaft seal. I'm just going to take a flathead and just kind of pop it out from the back. This one's This one was glued in there, so I have to get this out. So just make sure you clear out anything that's still in there. All right, so we got our cleaned out seal plate. We're going to take the white ceramic part of the two-piece shaft seal, put it in here. You don't want to touch the face of the ceramic, so we're going to use a cloth to push it in. There you go. And make sure the white ceramic is facing out. Next step is going to be putting the seal plate back over the motor mounting plate. You can go ahead and remove this shaft protector and discard it. You don't need it. And again, there's a top and bottom to this seal plate. The grooves are going to be at the bottom to match up with the motor mounting plate. In the next steps, we're going to be putting the impeller back onto the shaft. You'll notice that the old spring portion of the shaft seal is still on the old impeller. You got to remove that. And this is actually, this metal part here, this little sleeve is actually part of the old shaft seal. So this has to be removed. That's not part of the impeller. But you can just take a flathead and kind of work that off. And this little rubber piece. All right, so we got the new spring portion of the shaft seal. We're going to put that on the shaft of the impeller. You'll notice that there's a shiny side and a dull side to this spring portion. The shiny side is always going to mate up with the smooth ceramic. So we'll put this on the impeller facing out so that it'll be able to touch the white ceramic. Okay, so you see the shiny side is out. And we're going to put that on here. Before we do, we're going to have to stabilize the shaft of the motor. All right, if you notice, the back of the VGreen is a little different from the traditional single speed. You have to use a 5/16 Allen wrench in there to stabilize the shaft. So we'll just stick that in there, and then spin the shaft until it's locked up. And then at that point, we can thread the impeller back on. And it just has to be hand tightened. You don't need to really crank it on there. It just needs to be snug, like you know when you're installing like an oil filter on your car. Just snug enough. You don't have to crank it on. All right, we're going to slide the impeller ring back over the impeller. The wider side is going to be out towards the strainer. It actually tells you on this impeller ring out towards the strainer. All right, so the next piece will be the diffuser. You can see the old diffuser ring still on there. We're going to discard that. We are going to put a new one on. All right, and you'll see here it says top, so that's going to obviously go at the top of the seal plate. All right, we're going to put the new diffuser gasket on there. We're just going to put a little bit of silicone lubricant on it. And it doesn't have to be much, just a little pea-sized drop. Just enough to make it shiny. All right, the VGreen motor will come with these two plugs installed in the back. The one on the right here is for the high voltage, which can be your power coming into it. The one on the left is for an auxiliary line. We're going to use it to go to the V-Link, but if you had automation, you'd use that. If you're not using V-Link or automation, you would just leave this one in. If it's loose, you want to make sure it's tight so water doesn't get in there. But we're going to go ahead and remove the high voltage one and put on our elbow. All right, so we're going to bring the three wires back into the new motor. So you have your two hot and your ground. So we're going to feed those through the conduit elbow. So your ground's going to go over here. You'll see the ground symbol underneath that screw here. Okay, there's your ground. You get your two hot lines One will go to L1 and the other will to L2. All right, so we're going to take the bonding wire, connect it there to the lug here. All right, so we're going to replace the housing gasket while we still got the pump open. So we'll just pull the old one out, put a little silicone lubricant on the new one. And we'll just pop it back into the groove. Okay. All right, so at this point, we got the housing gasket in. We can push the motor assembly back into the pump body. All right, now we'll get our 6 bolts and put those back in. Okay, it's kind of the last seal we're going to replace. Might as well do it while we're replacing all the other ones, is the pump lid O-ring. There we go. And again, we'll just put a little bit of lubricant on this one. So I'll put the terminal cover back on there, tighten the screw.
That covers the steps on how to install a VGreen 165 motor. Check out the links in the description to see our videos on programming a VGreen 165, along with how to pair your new motor with a V-Link wireless interface.
If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. If this video helped you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to visit us over at inyopools.com for all your swimming pool needs. Thanks for watching.